Here at Cult Flav, there's one dish we make more than any other, and over the past couple weeks, we finally put together a recipe to share it with y'all. Those of you who've been around a while know that Sarah and I will do just about anything for flavor. And that means that even when we're tired, busy, or just feeling lazy, we still want something that's gonna blow our socks off.
This is a scarf-worthy meal.
We probably have one of those days a week, and when that day comes around, we're eating Kimchi Jjigae.
Ooh.
For those of you unfamiliar, Kimchi Jjigae is a beloved Korean comfort food and a staple of Korean barbecue joints. If you're lucky enough to have your first taste ahead of you, you're in for a real treat, even if you haven't acquired the taste for kimchi yet. And that's because Kimchi Jjigae is the easiest way I know of to fall head over heels in love with it.
Tasty.
Its gorgeous red broth is chock full of tender pork and tofu, bright aromatics, and of course the requisite kimchi. It's savory, sour, spicy, sweet, and the way we make it, even a little bit smoky. It's just
like it hits every note.
A jjigae is essentially a stew, and this one traditionally relies on kimchi that's been fermented a couple weeks past its prime in order to make that brine intensely sour. I grew up without experiencing Korean food really at all, but I started making this a few years back after watching a video from Korean celebrity chef and my personal favorite YouTuber, Park Jong-won. Since then, we've also tried recipes from Mangchi, of course, Eric Kim, Danny Bowen, Joanne Lee Molinaro, not to mention all the times we've tried recreating recipes that we've had from restaurants. Back to that over-fermented kimchi, up till now, we've been buying our kimchi in bulk and fermenting it in the fridge for an extra month before using it. When we started doing recipe development, we tested a few variants with less fermented kimchi, and while it wasn't terrible, it just didn't have the punch we needed.
Out of 10? She said 8. She's just yelling tasting notes at me from the other room. I think this is a 9 personally, but.
So the real struggle for us was how do you tell people to go buy a bunch of kimchi and then just let it sit in the fridge for a month before they actually use it? And that's when it hit me. Kimchi is a pretty standard lactic acid ferment, so really we're just killing all that time waiting for bacteria to poop out a bunch of lactic acid. Why don't we just bring our own lactic acid to the party and skip the wait? Conveniently, a few years back, I started brewing sake out of curiosity. I just wanted to learn more about it. In my very first batch, I used a few drops of lactic acid to protect my starter. So I basically had a full bottle just sitting on the shelf, gathering dust and waiting for its moment to shine. Found it. I tested my theory by diluting it to the same strength as vinegar, which is about 5% acid, gave it a quick taste, and dumped the rest into a fresh pot of kimchi jjigae. Surprise, surprise, it was a perfect fit, if a bit strong.
Very acidic.
When I looked online at how easy it would be for y'all to get a hold of food-grade lactic acid, I found that it's commonly available as a powder form, which is a bit more convenient and easier to use. So I got some of that and tested it too, in slightly lower concentration this time, and I'll just let Sarah say it.
I think this is the one. I don't want to change anything.
The other ingredients are pretty broadly available these days since gochujang has gotten so trendy lately. But while you're online shopping for lactic acid, you may want to pick up some gochugaru as well, which are Korean red chili flakes, and gukkanjang, which is a Korean soy sauce made specifically for soups. They're not strictly mandatory for this recipe, but they're definitely nice to have, and they're commonly used across many other Korean recipes as well. We like to make kimchi jjigae a bunch of different ways to keep things interesting, so this is really just a jumping off point, but it's also probably the easiest recipe we've ever written, and it comes together really fast. We tend to make a lot of fun of one-pot recipes because they tend to trade flavor for simplicity. Well, we finally wrote one, and I promise it doesn't skip on flavor. Pretty much everything just gets thrown into the pot together, and the total cook time is about half an hour, which is well under the time it takes most rice cookers to finish. The only real non-traditional twist we add to ours is borrowed from another stew called pure jjigae, and that's mini smoked sausages. We cut one half open crossways and let their salt and light smokiness season the soup as it boils. And at the end, they look like cute little quadrupedal octopuses, so win-win. In typical Cult Flav fashion, we like to name our recipes after celebrities, so we're calling this one Kimchi Raikkonen after my all-time favorite F1 driver.
Hello.
He's known for being quick, red, a little bit sour, a lot spicy, and easy to love. Just the way I like my jjigae.
Look at the cute little sauce-octopus. Kind of looks like a banana from Mario Kart. That's what my red shirt's for. Tastes like a fucking restaurant, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty fire.